Hey everyone, it's Talia here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we are going to work with a whole bunch of different types of tricky nail art. This video is sponsored by DK Beauty, so all of the products that I'm going to share with you in this video are available there. So first up, let's start with this dried floral technique. So this is encapsulating any of those type of dried florals that you might have or want to try in your collection. I like to use one of these little LED lights and then a medium-sized clear jelly stamper. It fits perfectly inside one of these. You kind of have to like smush it around a little bit. Now I cut mine down so that I would have a flat edge. I was kind of curious if it would work a little bit better for this technique. Spoiler, I don't think it really matters, but I'm going to take this beautiful pink gel polish, and this is going to be my base color that these flowers are going to sit on top of. I'm going to take a clear builder gel. My go-to is the KoKo and Claire one. I really like the thin viscosity of it, and it is super clear. And after I go in with a thin layer of that down, I'm going to drop my flowers right on top of that uncured gel. And if you want to do this in 2 steps, you can, because we end up doing that. I put down the little green leaf here. I'm going to go in with my stamper on top of it once I have positioned where I want it. And I like to smush it down first, then turn it on. I find this works a little bit easier, but that like wet gel, if you have too much of it, it's going to move all of those items around, so be mindful of how much gel you're putting down there. After I've cured it, I'm going to snip off all of these little extras because I absolutely do not need them in this design, and I decided that I wanted a little bit more florals on this side here, so I'm going to go in with just a small coat of that clear builder again and do the exact same technique with the stamper. I smush it down and then I'm going to turn the light on and cure it. You do want to make sure that you're doing a full cure in your bigger lamps because this little LED light will not give it a full cure. So after it is all cured, I'm going to go in with a thin coat of this builder down. Now, not to worry if it's looking a little bit lumpy or bumpy because we do have to shape this, especially when you're embedding things that are a little bit larger like these flowers here. After it's cured, I'm going to remove that dispersion layer and start filing it. I file my edges with a hand file, and then I like to file like the top when I need to file the entire top of a nail with my e-file. Personally, I just find that this works a little bit easier for me, and after I do an e-file, I usually like to go in with a little bit of a buff too, just to make sure I got everything. I'm just going to top coat this nail design here, and it is complete. So that is one really easy way to work with embedded flowers and things that might be a little bit thicker. The next 2 looks are done with fine pigments. This first one is kind of a more basic look of working with them. So I'm going to go in with a gel polish color that kind of matches the pigment that I chose. These are flashing pigments, so they have, when you shine a light on them, they flash a little bit more sparkly. They're really cool. But in that uncured gel polish, I'm just going to sprinkle in some of these loose glitters, and then I'm going to cure it. Make sure that you cure it for like extra time just to be sure that it's cured all the way through. Once it comes out, I'm going to remove any excess, and then I'm going to encapsulate this glitter. So you could just leave it as the sugared effect that you saw initially, or you can encapsulate it so it looks like this. Our next look is this kind of tweed looking plaid with using some fine pigments. We're going to take the gel bottle color in June, which is a beautiful pink, and we're going to drop some of this bubblegum flashing pigments into it. Now watch what happens when you drop them in a gel polish like this. It is so neat, and it also like makes this really fun kind of milky grainy looking color, which is perfect for like a plaid tweed design. So I'm going to paint these down, and you'll notice that they have like a texture to them when you mix them with your colors. It turned out really cool. I had never tried this technique with a flashing pigment before, and I really like the outcome of it. So I attempted to hand paint some plaid, and it turned out absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to stamp down these plaid stamps right on top of the removed dispersion layer of that tweed looking gel. And I did this because I wanted the kind of lumpy bumpy texture that doing the stamping on top of the gel would give. And I also decided to go in with a matte top coat, and I'm not going to try and even out the lumpies and bumpies here because I think this is what gives it the more texture look. This is such a fun design. This is the next design that we are going to work with using a sugar powder. So first up, I'm going to pick this really pretty blue gel polish from KoKo and Claire. The most imperative step before you do sugaring is to make sure you go in with your top coat, whether it's a shiny top coat or a matte top coat, because you do not want to be surrounding your sugar design with top coat at the end, trust me. So you guys know I am not the best hand painter, so I like to work with stamps as much as I can, and I find it really easy to just stamp down whatever background of the hand painting that I want to do, like a heart here, and then go in with whatever medium I'm using to hand paint on top of it. It just gives me a guide and it's what works for me. So this little palette that you're seeing as the background here, these are actually the Fusion gel paints in an empty paint tin, and I like working with the Fusion gel paints for this because they cure tack free, and I find they just hold a sugar very, very well. Taking some of the KoKo and Claire nail art sugar, and I'm just going to sprinkle this on top of my uncured gel here, and I'm going to do this until there's no like shiny parts of the gel left, and then I'm going to cure it in my lamp. Fusion's gel paints are a UV only cure though, so something to keep in mind with that. And this is how the sugar powder design turns out. I find using a tack-free product to create your sugar works the best. If you're like me, you've got a variety of loose glitters in your collection, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can work with them. The first design is probably the most easiest way to work with loose glitters. I'm going to put some of my glitters down on a palette here, and then I'm going to take some more clear gel here, and I'm just going to mix my loose glitters in with it. This is going to give the effect of working with a potted glitter gel, which is fantastic for anybody who's used to working with potted glitters, or if you want something that's a little bit easier to control. Now, if you want more concentrated amount of glitters here, you just have to mix more into your gel, but keep in mind it will make the gel thicker. So if you struggle working with a thicker gel, that might not be the best method for you, but definitely give it a try. It does work. And then we're going to encapsulate it in clear and then just go right in and top coat because I didn't have anything that I needed to buff. Now, another way to work with loose glitters that can make it look a lot more concentrated, so you pick a background of your gel polish that sort of matches or pairs with the glitter that you are working with. In this case, I picked this really pretty Apres neutral color, and then I'm going to go in with a thin layer of my clear builder, and you can work with your loose glitters kind of like you would a sugar, like just kind of dump them in. You could also grab a dotting tool and apply it like that, but our main goal here is to just get a lot of glitters down on the nail. I'm going to kind of pat everything around here just so that I can make sure that it is completely covered. You're going to cure it, and then we're going to go in with another layer of the clear builder to encapsulate. So you can see that we're starting to get a little thicker here, so it's definitely something to keep in mind is how mindful you're able to file those glitters down after. I prefer, again, filing with an e-file if I'm going to be filing the entire nail down. I just find that I'm able to remove a lot of that bulk that was probably created with the glass builder here, but I do like to go in with a hand file next and then just clean up my edges and my cuticle and get all of the different areas that I might have missed with my e-file. Now, if there was any areas such as like the side that maybe didn't get as much glitter, it's okay because we can see that gel polish color poking through and it just coordinates nicely with it, but we still get a concentrated amount of glitter. Our next look is going to be working with those big chunky glitters. This gel bottle color is called S'mores, and it is a really pretty shimmery pink color. I'm just going to go in and do one thin coat down with this. Now, when I say big chunky glitters, I mean these ones, like the stars or the snowflakes that are just super hard to rest flat on your nails. After I've applied my builder gel, I'm not going to cure it, and I'm just going to do a little bit in the center. Then I'm going to place my really chunky glitters where I want them, and you got it. We're going to use that LED light with the squishy medium stamper head from Clear Jelly Stamper. Again, I like to squish it down first and then turn it on, and you can see that I've got a little bit of the star poking out here, so I'm just going to go in with a little bit more of that builder gel and do this technique another time here, which is going to bend that star, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with the little snowflake here too. Step is to encapsulate with a clear gel. Now, you don't have to use the glass builder. DK Beauty has a ton of really good like builder either in a bottle products or like a hard gel too. So this is how the design turned out. Hopefully it helped you guys to work with those chunky glitters. Let's move on to foils. I have 3 foil looks to share with you. First up, we're going to take this Akzentz color. It's called Koi, and it is a milky gel polish white. It's beautiful. It has such a great consistency. So I'm going to do one thin coat of this down, and we are going to work with the dispersion layer with these super metallic foils here. This is not my favorite way to work with these foils, but it definitely works. It just depends on how sticky the inhibition layer is for whatever the product is that you're working with. And it's not gonna pull consistently. Like you can see here that the products are kind of going a little bit more gritty, so it works and you can create some cool looks with it. I think overall it's just not a consistent look for the foils, so it looks neat, but I'm going to show you a way to make the foils work a little bit better. There's one product that I absolutely love for working with foils, and we're going to use it on this look. So we're going to start with this Breeze gel polish color. Honestly, it didn't really matter what base I picked, I just wanted something really light for this look. And then the Glitter Mix Canada foil transfer gel is just fantastic for working with foils. I just recommend that you work very thin with it because I have had issues with it kind of wrinkling when I haven't worked with it thin. But I'm going to put this foil down on the nail here, and when I rip it up, you'll see that the majority of the product did transfer. Now I'm going for a layered look here, so I'm just going to go in with that transfer gel again and then just create some like random splots on here. But you can see that the foils just pull so much better than working with the dispersion layer. But again, it just kind of depends what look you're going for your design. You definitely have some options in how you can work with foils. Now this foil gel works so good with those clear foils, so we're going to do an animal print look here using an animal print foil. We're going to cut down the amount that we want, go in with our base color, which again is that Akzentz Koi color, and then we're going to go in with our thin coat of the Glitter Mix Canada transfer gel. And another thing to note about this gel is I find that it goes not super matte, but a little bit matte in the light when it's like ready for the foil to transfer. So I'm going to push down the foil on here as best as I can on this tip, and then I'm going to pull it up. Another really good thing about working with this foil gel is that if there's any that didn't transfer, you can just line it back up and it will transfer. So then we can go in with our top coat, and this design is all done. Two really great benefits of working with foils is that there's some really unique foils out there and they are nice and thin. Working with chromes can be so tricky and so finicky, which is why I broke this up into two tutorials using pro products as well as non-pro products. For the pro products one, I'm working with the gel bottle aqua chrome. I'm working with Akzentz Breathless because I want a color that matches the chrome as best as I can. And then probably like the product you absolutely need for chrome is the Akzentz Shine On. It works so good with chrome. So to make your chrome work the best, you have to kind of play around with your top coat curing time, as well as pay attention to like the wattage of your lights, because it's going to vary on those two factors mainly. So in this little part here, I'm going to show you what it looks like if your tack-free top coat is under cured. It's just basically going to stick to the top coat. It's not going to give a chrome effect. This actually turns out really cool. It gives a neat effect, but that's not the chrome look that we're going for. So if your chrome's turning out like this, your tack-free top coat is under cured. Now, if your tack-free top coat that you're using is over cured, then your chrome is not really gonna stick. It's gonna go on pretty patchy. I actually found the Akzentz Shine On really difficult to not make work. Like I had to strive to make it not work. So this is kind of a better example of what I mean when it's over cured. And I cured this for probably like 2 minutes because I find the best thing about the Akzentz Shine On is that it's not as finicky of a top coat with chrome and your cure times as some of the other ones that I've tried on the market here. Now, if your chrome is looking kind of patchy like this because say you did over cure your first layer, you can just go in with either a little bit more chrome to see if that's going to transfer, and if not, you can go in with a whole entire second coat and it will likely work with your second coat. I also find that this top coat seals in over chrome really well. So again, I'm going to show you the 3 different chromes. Then for our last demo, I'm going to show you how to work with chromes that are available to everybody, because DK Beauty is available to everybody with certain brands, and some brands are pro only. I do like to use a color that matches as best as I can to the color of chrome that I'm working with. I find that just enhances the color of the chrome. I'm going to use the KoKo and Claire Shine On for this, and I'm going to go in with my coat, and then initially I'm going to cure it so that I am going to under cure it. And this, again, you'll see the chrome just kind of sticks to that tack-free top coat because it hasn't actually cured to a full tack-free yet, and it does give a really cool effect. Like, I do like this, especially if that was matte. However, that's not what we want, so I'm going to show you what it looks like if it is over cured again here. So it's just not sticking very well to it again. again. And then for the final one here, it does stick really good for the majority of the nail, and I do find that if I go back in and I add more of that chrome to the nail, it does stick pretty good. But if you do have this issue where like there's just one small little patch not working, go in with your top coat again and then do your chrome in an additional layer, and then you should be able to get like a really great chrome effect here. So chrome can be super finicky. Play around with it, try some different products and see what works for you. This concludes my tricky nail art video. I hope that it helped you guys. I know there's so many different methods out there and I wanted to bring you like a concise video, so keep in mind I do have online workshops that dive a little bit more in depth in some of these different methods too. Make sure you're following me on all my social media and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!